4 decades after the famous Italian plumber first ate a mushroom, the mushrooms have their day. I played a few games between my last shiny new game and now. Want to give a moment of props to Nova Lands. You were so close to being my choice this month, and I love those little blue balls. Instead, we're going to go a little deeper into a game I streamed on Twitch just a week ago as of writing this. Smushi Come Home. If this game looks cozy, it is. If it looks kiddie, well, it's pretty kid appropriate. Only lightly touching on themes of vandalism and addiction. If it looks low poly, well, congratulations, you have eyes. I don't run a lot of 3D platformers, for as basic as it is, the genre is really hard to get right. Even the best pedigree of developer is not enough to guarantee a good one. Honestly, the only one I regularly trust nowadays is Mario, because Nintendo would rather eat a whole pine cone than release a subpar Mario game. I mean on console. But Smushi had some things going for it. For one, it's got an overwhelmingly positive rating. For two, my 8-year-old niece was visiting and I wanted something wholesome and cute to stream for her. Smushi to the rescue. Except that's not how this adventure starts. So what's the story? Smushi is a mushroom living with his 3 brothers Mushu, Umami, and Shiitake. After helping retrieve his youngest brother's pet ladybug, seriously kids, wild animals are happier in the wild, we get nabbed by a passing bird that wants food for her babies. Luckily for Smushi, when we land, we find the babies are in eggs, and no one is making sure the mushroom doesn't walk away. Which, now that I think about it, is not a common trait for mushrooms. In fact, as we wander the strange land we've been dropped in, we encounter a great many mushrooms, most of which are clearly of the I grew out of the ground like a natural organism type. We're not the only mushroom on legs, but ambulatory shrooms are clearly a minority. Getting out of the nest brings us to a pleasant thing. Lots of this game's NPCs can be best described as things. Here's a thing with an antenna. Here's a thing that's kind of a snail. This thing is a rock, but it has flowers growing on it. This thing needs to be institutionalized. I never want to talk to this thing again. But the first thing we meet is a nice chap who, at first, assumes we want to join him living a stress-free life in the wilds. Living off the land, waking when we please, free from all responsibilities. Against all reason, Smushi would rather go back to be with his family, but he isn't at all sure where they are. He blacked out in flight, so he doesn't even know where he is. The thing gives him some words of encouragement, then hands down his explorer's gear, a leaf and a pair of rusty fishhooks. At the end of that conversation, I completely fell in love with Smushi Come Home's movement mechanics. This isn't anything elaborate. Smushi cannot backflip, ground pound, side flip, possess innocent wildlife, or long jump. Instead, this mushroom is perfectly equipped for traversing levels of significant verticality with a minimum of frustration and just enough challenge to make it feel worth the while. The leaf gives Smushi a glide that lasts a short time before slowly lowering him to the floor. The meter is easy to read and accompanied by a cute in-game indicator where the leaf slowly changes color as its energy runs out. The starting distance is generous enough that you can start playing the ground right from the get-go. Get it? Playground? Never mind. The hooks are used in this spot, where a set of black spots indicate a climbing area. When Smushi jumps into this wall, he clings to it like fungus Spider-Man. He can then do a second jump to get himself over it. This might look clunky from outside, but it feels fantastic. Sticking to the wall is accompanied by a nice little dink to let you know you're on, and you can take your time planning your next jump. Oh, and the game misled me. These spots were just to get you moving. The hooks will cling to almost any geometry in the game. Everything functions so intuitively and so forgivingly that I might recommend this game to anyone who has never tried a 3D platformer and wants to see how a good one feels. This is great. And what follows is a set of 3 levels in the vein of Super Mario 64. Each is self-contained, and except for one puzzle, all the keys are in the same room as their respective locks. There's nothing super challenging here, so don't come looking to hone your skills or bend your brain. This is lo-fi shrooms to platform to. Perfect when you've got an evening and you just want to chill with a relaxing game. Not that there's nothing of interest here. That verticality is no joke, and every level has a set of NPCs who will have their own side quests for Smushi. Some of them are necessary to reach the next area of Smushi's journey, and some just offer power-ups for what Smushi already has. It's very forgiving. If you fall from a great height, it won't take you hours or minutes, realistically, to get back up. And most of the time, solving a puzzle or completing a challenge will open a shortcut, letting you push through even faster should you need a revisit. And the cast of characters is interesting enough to keep me going. There's no big evil to fight, and no bosses at all. In fact, you might call the end of the game anticlimactic, but that would imply it was building towards a climax to begin with. Smushi badly wants to get home. He's worried about his brothers, and it's an awfully big world for such a small mushroom to traverse. He has no trail to follow, and his help comes from animals not much bigger than he is. Some have traveled far, but what does far mean when you're 3 inches tall and got carried away by a bird who can travel for miles? So it's really uplifting to see Smushi grow stronger in his journey, to see him helping the residents, solving problems, even being a hero and saving the life of another mushroom who was lost in his own way. Smushi starts out feeling very small and afraid of a world he does not know how to handle. But by the time the anarchist blows up the bars of his prison, you get the sense that Smushi's home is going to be a bit small for him. He has a responsibility to his brothers, of course, but by the end of this journey, Smushi will be capable of so much more than he was when he started. I guess what I'm saying is that I really want a Smushi Come Home 2 where Smushi goes out on a quest to save a mushroom prince. Okay, never mind, that's not gonna work, sorry Nintendo. The only problem I really have with this game is the length. The developers made excellent use of space in the 3 levels they created, there's plenty of goals to achieve and plenty of nooks and crannies to explore, but there should be more. Like Smushi himself, this game feels capable of so much more than it's letting itself do. For as far as Smushi thought he was taken, it's really only a short distance home. I'm not asking for an open world, far from it. I think the journey home is essential to this game and that has to be a linear journey. But I want 2 more levels. Maybe 3. This is the only game I found by developer Some Humble Onion, and it's an excellent entry. I really hope it finds enough success to continue their game dev journey. There's a lot to like here, and it deserves to be expanded on. So there you go. That's Smushi Come Home, my shiny new game. Thanks for playing, everyone.